So, I just finished the last episode of season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, and even though I enjoyed the episode, the action, the gore, I was left with a fucking cliffhanger that did not satisfy me. Doesn't make it any better that this series was supposed to have season 1 and season 2 be together in this whole big ol' thing, right? So, technically, this ending here is supposed to be like the mid-season point, right? But man, did I expect more, right? They had the buildup. They had everything in place, and then it just ended, right? Blue-balled me. Showed me a good time with Punisher and Daredevil fighting in their own respective styles. With Punisher, fighting like himself, killing, and Daredevil trying to stop him and trying to mitigate the damage, right? But I needed more, right? This is just all set up for Fisk and his task force to basically take over the city. And I did think, old girl betraying the commissioner was a crazy little twist, and just, man, like, everything was so nice. Everything was so nice. It's like going ahead and watching a chef make this amazing food, right, in front of your face, and then just go ahead and just take the food away from you. Like, I wanted more. What's going on, Chief? Like, I need more. I guess that might be the intention, but who knows when the next season will come out and if the hype will be as high as before. What I thought was really cool, especially in this episode, was that they not only mixed not only the stories for characters, but how they fight. And we see that with the Punisher going ahead and killing and doing his fucking thing, right? Because we know that if a character that goes ahead and his main thing is killing ends up in a story with a character that doesn't kill, their kills are mitigated to a degree. But here, we see Frank be himself, a cold, hard killer who, even when Matt is telling him to stop, he is killing these clowns as he would any criminal, because that's what he believes they are. So, yeah, got a little bit sidetracked there, but the series, it got its stride, by episode 6. And because of whatever reasoning, they made an episode that should have been, a series, like, not a series finale, but before, like the series before the episode before the series finale, right? That was episode 9. That was episode 9. The series finale, which, man, like, there could have been so much payoff, like it could have been so great with this episode being like the episode before the series finale with whatever they're planning to do. But I guess they got more plans on what else they're doing for the story, but who the fuck knows? Personally, just me, I would have gotten rid of episode 5 and used episode 6's story for that slot, and, sort of like eliminate that story and have everything go down by one spot and give us an actual conclusion for episode 9, right? That's just me, I just wanted more room for there to be an actual, like, conclusive ending to this season that leads into the next one. But yeah, they left us on a great, I wouldn't say great, but they left us on a note that wants us wanting more. And I would have rather, I would have rather them go ahead and give us a great conclusion, right? Wanting more as well, right? So maybe I'm asking for too much, but yeah, that's just how I feel. Like, don't get me wrong, the series started great with the fight with Daredevil and Bullseye, Foggy's death, and a new status quo for Matt a year and a half later with his new law firm, as well as Fisk coming back to New York and running and him running for mayor. It was interesting. I think this season in particular wasn't just a Daredevil season, but more so a Matt Murdock season, because it was a season that gave us great Matt Murdock moments. I do think that they could have done better with the action. I think the Billy Club baton thing is a crutch, and he can do much more with the martial arts and his perception, but he feels much more like a brawler in this series and less more of a martial arts ninja, just monster, right? That's how I feel. I don't think he is nerfed. I think they aren't really using the ninja aspect of his character much, because for sure, Matt can infiltrate the whole dock in episode 9 where all the task force is at, but, for what? To do what? He's already hurt, and, what is he going to go there to do? What, sightsee? I don't think so. But I do think they are mishandling a few things with their approach with Daredevil. I do feel like that they are using his intelligence and abilities uh in a moderate way, right? I guess, like, again, this is up to like the directors and writing, and how well they understand the character. Of course, they probably watched the original series. If not, I don't know why they're here. But if they have watched the original series, maybe they have an idea on how to do certain things, or their version of Daredevil. But the original series had him just be like really, really into like the martial arts and stuff like that, right? And even in would switch between like being a brawler and beating the fuck out of people, and just using his martial arts a bit more, right? Um, let's take an example, right? Look at episode 5. I can make an example in this episode, and I think that's the only use of this episode, in my opinion. Remember how he used the chaos to fight the armed thugs towards the end of the episode? It would have been much more interesting if the hostage situation was held much more later down in the day, where it turns to night and Matt tricks his way into taking down the power. He uses the darkness to hide himself while he takes care of the thugs, silently or not, in complete darkness. Which, I'm just saying is that give Daredevil time in his element, just like how we got Matt in his element in the courtroom. And with that being said, the Hector Ayala case is probably, for me, the best case he has had ever since Punisher, right? The Punisher case wasn't, I wouldn't really say like it's like a real courtroom case, because it's just all just fluff to, like, I guess, make Frank Castle like deepen his character, I guess. But it wasn't just a case. It was much more than that. But this just being like a case for Hector Ayala, with actual court moments and stuff like that, it was really fucking good, right? And even though the character gets killed, Matt still remembers him and tries to honor Hector, the White Tiger. As well as Muse being in the series, being a small footnote to it. So far, it's kind of sad. But we will potentially see Matthew fucking Lillard as the real Muse in season 2. And the one in season 1 was just a sloppy copycat. So I'm everybody's guessing that's what they're going to do, but who the fuck knows, right? Fisk in this entire series is an ever-evolving figure. He is not only the kingpin, but he is the mayor, and in the entirety of the series, for him, he is trying to find that balance between those two lives, those two versions of him, and nothing more represents this than his relationship with Vanessa. At first, they had trouble because they had issues with each other, especially with her cheating, but both decided after, she goes ahead and guns this dude down, right? The guy she cheated on Fisk with, they put it all past them and, try to work things together and became stronger together, right? Side note, I did really like Vanessa's whole thing with being in the kingpin spot, being essentially the queen pin, I guess. But everything primarily revolves around Kingpin, Wilson fucking Fisk. And I did enjoy the parallels that they were trying to do between Matt and Wilson, from their fights to how they view things in the city to how they want to help the city in their own, way, right? I'm still shitty that Foggy got killed, but with it, Foggy's still here. Foggy is with Matt at every turn, every decision he makes. Foggy truly showed Matt a better path, and thanks to Foggy, Matt and I can't speak. Thanks to Foggy, Matt and Karen figured out what the game plan is for the mayor and his whole, organization so far, right? Especially like with Red Hook port being a free port, so technically no laws or anything can really do anything with it, right? None of that applies there, so they can't do it. So the U.S. themselves can't do shit with it. But yeah, overall, I did really enjoy this season. I did, like, the only thing I feel is that episode 5 was a waste. No one can tell me differently, but everything in this season had purpose and built the world more, in my opinion. Now, would I have liked more cameos from heroes and villains as well? Fuck yeah, right? Of course. It's crazy that not having Spider-Man somewhere in this chaos is a thing. Maybe they were trying to save that for season 2. I don't know what's going on, but if they are, I understand. But it still would have been nice to have a little bit more Spidey or other heroes reacting to the mayor's tomfoolery, right? I can't speak right now. That's another thing. Fisk is primarily the final boss for street level heroes in general. Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and many other heroes out there, right? For many street level heroes, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, is somehow involved in the shit that's going on in the city, in their neighborhood. So having Daredevil be that bridge to bring other heroes together to fight this big old bastard and his militia of crazy ass former cops. I'm not even calling them cops anymore. They are just thugs working for Fisk at this point, right? Daredevil being a beacon for street level heroes to come together to fight this big bastard, expose him to the public and his true intentions. And, you know, if they have all this, you know, I think season 2 will be fucking great. If they do it well, the action well, the cameos well, you know, it will be great, right? I think it's, as someone said before that I saw in a comment somewhere, that this season is just set up for a much more deeper, much more serious, much more brutal season 2. But this season was pretty okay, right? I feel like it's a 7 out of 10. The series probably is better than most Disney Plus Marvel shows. I think it's only topped by Loki because it is consistently good in Loki. I recommend it as a casual watch, not like a must see, drop your popcorn, drop all the other shows, sort of situation, right? But it's a good watch. It's a good watch. What do you guys think of this season? What do you guys expect from season 2? I'll make a whole short of that. Trust me on that. And tell me about, you know, y'all's day. Stay safe, stay healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.